Look, man, we can focus on the smallest things and it can ruin our day, right? It can ruin our week, it can ruin our month, it can ruin our life, right? The power of focus it can't be understated, right? Because when you are in stress, right, which tells your nervous system survival, tells your nervous system we're not safe. When you're in that state, then you're going to be focusing on all the things that could be problems, right? The potential risk factors. Need to make sure we have food. Need to make sure we're protected, right? And these are all normal processes. That's how we survived, right? But if you can't switch off those survival mechanisms and your nervous system is switched on to that fight or flight nervous system, be it, and it doesn't have to be so grand, you know what I mean? It can be literally just someone's annoying you, right? Something's whatever, your work, your ex, whatever it may be. We're in the modern world, it's not like we're being chased by a lion, right? It's like, it's like we're being bombarded with the news and with politics and all these unique social situations and anxieties and shame and all the things that go along with being human, right? But we can focus on so many different things. And, when you are stuck in that place, when your nervous system is in that stressful, fearful environment internally, you're not going to want to look at the thing. You're not going to be counting your blessings, right? It's not a time to bask, right? It's not a time to appreciate. It's time to really pay attention to what's going on around you. And if you want to create something new, if you want to create a life worth living, you want to create a new experience, a new business, a new relationship, whatever it may be, it's really hard to do when you're in fear and when you're in stress and survival, because you're going to just be focusing on things that upset you or that are potential problems or things that aren't going right, and you will be pouring your energy into those things. Now, this isn't just a simple one-for-one law of attraction thing, although it's very much in that same realm, you could say. But it is true, because just as a thought experiment, you could, with the power of the internet and the age that we live in, for 5 hours you could look up all of the most horrible things that humanity has to offer, right? You could see videos of people being killed. You could see, really graphic things. You could see, you could look up all these war documentaries and hear about these horrible stories and all these crime, stories of serial killers and all these things. For 5 hours, you could do that. And I guarantee by the end of it, you're going to be a different person than you would be if for 5 hours you spent learning about, the nature of the universe and quantum physics and mechanics. And, if you spent listening to miracles and people that have healed from really, traumatic things, people that have overcome alcoholism or sexual trauma or whatever it may be. You'd be a very different person if you watch something very inspiring versus watching things very morbid. And that's just the power of your focus and how it affects your nervous system, how it affects your thinking, how it affects everything. Now, I just want to really make it clear that you can, it's my belief that anybody, even with our unique backgrounds, our unique experiences, our unique traumas, and whatever we may have gone through, I believe that everybody has the power to draw a line in the sand, and it's a skill like anything else. Like Joe Dispenza says, right, which I really, really think his work is hitting the nail on the head with this. It's a skill like anything. So emotional regulation, self-regulation, resetting your nervous system, relaxing, calming your nervous system, it's a skill like anything else. And this focus is a skill. And so when we get focused in that place of those things where we just want to, this thing irks me, and you just make it bigger, right? We really, how often do we solve things when we're in that state, right? When you're frustrated and you just can't, right? You just make it bigger. And yeah, maybe eventually it goes away. Well, maybe it would have gone away anyway. And maybe you spent all that time being frustrated when you could have been living your life and doing something else, right? So bring it back a little bit. I believe that on every level, in every moment, we do have the choice of what we focus on. And it's easier for some rather than others based on the past or whatever. But I truly believe that in the present moment, like, you really get serious with yourself, you really get disciplined with yourself, and you just practice. Regardless of that story that you have, that story, it's probably limiting you. You can, if you start to drop the story and you just practice, even just putting it aside for a bit, you don't have to give it up completely. Just put that story to the side for a bit and just be like, do I really want to focus on this guy that yelled at me in traffic? Do I want him to control the way I think and feel? Do I want him to ruin my day? Or do I want to focus on my future? Do I want to focus on the relationships I want to have, right? The children I want to have, the businesses I want to build, the financial security, stability, the adventures, the travel, the languages, all these things. Because that is something that I deal with every single day, and that I think and ponder and contemplate. And believe me, I am as guilty as anyone else. This world, it's a war for your attention. Your attention means your money. Your attention means your loyalty, right? To a brand or some aesthetic or some political ideology, whatever it may be, right? But the true oomph of, like, the true what was it? Meat. I don't know. The true thing about life is I want to create the life that I want to live, right? I have my own unique experience and authentic expression, and I want to fulfill that. And we all have that, right? Whatever it may be. And it's just hard to do whenever you don't have the tools of self-regulation and understanding that your focus is the most powerful thing that you can give to somebody, right? Because you're given that focus to anger, things that make you upset, things that make you frustrated. It's not, I can almost guarantee, like, some people, they say they use that as fuel, right? The haters, fuel me to whatever. That's okay. I just don't think it's very sustainable, right? I don't think it's healthy. I think someday you're going to have to drop that for something greater. Regardless, however you get there is fine. And you do have the emotional ladder, like Abraham Hicks talks about, anger is better than, like, depression or fear, because at least it gets you up to do something, right? So there's something to be said there. But I think that it's very, very, it's just something to contemplate and bring back into your life. Like, hey, my focus, my attention is the most valuable thing I can give. So you're putting your attention on me if you're watching this video. That's time in your life that you're investing. And hopefully you're getting something good out of this. And I think if you listen, you really will. And it will be beneficial. But if you're watching this because you're just watching and consuming content nonstop, even if it's spiritual, healthy, good, self-help content, but you never actually do anything about it and you just watch videos all day, then again, it's not beneficial, right? So you need to be careful about where you put your attention and start getting really clear on what you want to put your attention on. Do you want to put your attention on the things that you can be grateful for? Because you'd be feeling a lot more gratitude in your life. It's not magic. It's just like planting seeds. And it's like you don't need more things to feel grateful for, although they're beautiful and you will have more. And I want more. But you can fan the flame. You can do anything within your own internal world and vision. You can find things to feel great. You can be grateful for things that haven't even happened yet, right? And that's a lot of the game with the manifestation space is, man, I'm grateful for that because I know I already have it, because it's already done for me. That's how you create. Right? That's how my girlfriend, like, dude, a week before I met her, I was feeling like, I was just like, I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for a real committed, none of this iffy on and off situationship nonsense. I put my hand on my heart and I was like, I feel it, dude. Like, I already feel that love. I feel that desire. I feel that adventure, that companionship. And I'm not saying everything in my life is magical, but in that sense, I really went all in with feeling those emotions. And dude, she popped up one day out of nowhere. And that's a whole story, I can tell on the channel if you want. It was very synchronistic and it was very magical. But, I know this stuff is true and I've seen it in my life many, many times. But to bring it all back to a conclusion, your focus is extremely powerful. And one last thing that I haven't touched on is not really a cheat code, but just a smarter way to go around it, right? If it's you do have the power in the moment to just shift, right? And that's something that you really want to get good at. But a more kind of long-term, kind of smarter, not harder kind of way is work on healing your nervous system first. And people throw that term around, like healing the nervous system, like it's something so simple, like, oh yeah, just go to the nervous system doctor and, give him money, no. But what I will say is familiarize yourself with elevated emotions, right? Back to Joe Dispenza's work, and there's so much science to back it up, right? Feeling these elevated emotions, feeling joy, feeling gratitude. and it doesn't even have to be so scientific or even so spiritual. It's just common sense. It's like if you're feeling good, you're feeling safe, you bring down that stress response, you bring down that nervous system that's active and an agitated, kind of irritated, aroused, like we need to do something sort of way, which is the survival, right? Always looking outside of you. And you just say, hey, I'm just going to find ways to soothe. I'm going to find ways, little things to feel grateful for, little things to be, a little bit inspired about, a little bit excited. Just let things be a little easier. Then it will be a lot easier to focus on the good things, because then you're changing from the inside out, right? From the bottom up, you're building that base of feeling safe within yourself, feeling secure, feeling enough. It's a gradient, but a little bit more of that seeping into you, it's a lot easier to focus on the good things, right? So really, it's all about momentum. And so dial in your focus to the things that you want to focus on. If you want to build a business, you can't do it when let's start a business, and then you're on TikTok, and then you're on this, and then you're maybe I should do this business. You're not going to get anywhere with that. At least commit to something, see it all the way through. And if it didn't work out, that's okay. Now you know how not to do it, right? And that's the classic thing people say with business or with whatever, but it's extremely true. It's like, just commit to things. That maybe, this rant may have gone too far and lost the mark, but really, focus is your greatest commodity. It's your greatest resource. It's your greatest friend. You with the power of your mind and your internal world of thoughts and feelings and visualization, you can create something so magical, so mystical, so beautiful. Create the exact world that you want and just start believing in it. And I guarantee you, the more you actually start feeling those emotions, the more the world around you will change, because you're made of energy. And that is your truth, that you are made of energy. And so if you start changing from the inside, I guarantee you change your energy, you change your life. That's straight out of, Dispenza's mouth, right? But I mean, it's exactly true. I've seen it in my life so many times, and it's so intoxicating. It's so enticing to be angry, right? We have politics, and we have division, and we have wars, and we have, all these things, and sexuality, and all these things that we could fight over. And I don't want to touch on any of that because, we need to come together. But if you need to worry about yourself first, and if you want to really create the world that you want to live in, getting beyond all that, it's finding a place of moving away from those emotions that get you locked into something that you don't want to focus on. Do you want to focus on anger? Do you want to focus on arguments? Do you want to focus on battles? Right? You can. That will be your experience, I promise. I choose to live an experience of peace and community and understanding, conversation, excitement, adventure, abundance, wealth, right? Friendship, romance. So, fun. So focus on, this is a choose your own adventure book. That's what life is. So make a choice. Remember that your focus matters right here, right now. Wherever you go from this video, you're creating your destiny. Where you're going to be in 20 years is determined not right now, not in 20 years, not in 10 years, not in 5 years. Your future is determined right now. That is what creates your future. It's the choices that you make right now that will determine where you will be. So start to focus on things that you want to focus on. Focus on some love, man. Start feeling it. Even if you feel like you don't have a reason to, I promise you that you do. I promise you that you can find one. You're strong enough. You're brave enough. You're creative enough. You're worthy enough. You're resourceful enough to find it within yourself, to feel some better feelings, to make different choices, to focus on things that matter to you, and create that life. I believe in you, proud of you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.